लेकिन बता रहा
हाँ,
लेकिन
क्या रोटेट?
हाँ
ठीक है, तो स्ट्रेट रख के करो।
already going
Started?
yes it's going time
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजाताः सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। So we have been discussing this topic, why do bad things happen to good people, and we have discussed a small section of this particular topic. So we'll just do like a quick recap and then continue from where we had stopped before. So we were discussing that whenever we go through major setbacks in life, like Nini experienced something yesterday. So whenever we go through major setbacks in life, definitely we get this question. Yesterday she called me and she was asking me on phone, Probably, why do bad things happen to good people? So everyone at some point or the other definitely gets this question in life. Right? So we saw that there are different ways in which one can see life, different philosophies through which one can see life. And whether you are a student of Bhagavad Gita or not, everyone has their own set of philosophy. Your life is basically some set of philosophy that's governing how you look at life. So we saw the philosophy of theism where someone believes that God is the creator and God is the controller. That things are happening under the control of God, even though at a certain point we may not understand why certain things are happening. The next idea or the next philosophy is called deism. Deism is a philosophy where someone believes that God is the creator, but they believe that God is not the controller. Because, especially when they see that why bad things are happening to good people, they are not able to understand that how can a good God, allow people to suffer. So this is deism. And then we have the philosophy of Charles Darwin, which is the education that is given to all the students in all the schools. So Charles Darwin's philosophy is basically atheism. He removes God from the picture completely. Right? God is neither the controller nor the creator. This is Charles Darwin's philosophy. So we were discussing this that we are approximately in the second last session of this journey of self-discovery course, which we started quite some time ago. So the first thing that we discussed in this course is that we are all searching for happiness, but we are all searching for happiness in the wrong place. And what is the wrong place? This material world is the wrong place. Because this material world is not a place where you will actually experience the happiness that we are looking for. Then we also saw existence of God, that there is someone up there, there is some superpower, whoever we call it, And then we saw that Krishna is the supreme God. That's what the scriptures explain. Then we discussed the topic of who am I? That the eternal spirit soul. So, in today's or in this session, we are going to discuss this topic of where am I, something about the material world and why we are here. And then in the next session, we will see how to go back to the spiritual world. So, Bhagavad Gita principally has 5 topics. The entire set of the 700 verses of the Gita is divided into 5 topics. The first topic is called Paramatma, which refers to the Supreme Lord. The next topic or the next very important theme of the Gita is Atma, about all of us. Then it speaks about Prakriti, material and spiritual world. Kal, time, and Karma, action and reaction. These are the 5 topics. So, last time we discussed something about the material world. Do you remember the discussion? Not last week. Last week there was a little less attendance. Before that, we discussed so we discussed that we as spirit soul, as Atma, we all come from the spiritual world. It's just 1 minute. I have to put this column mic. This is good. Forget about it. Okay. So, as spirit soul, we all come from the spiritual world, right? And we all have come right now to the material world. So, for those who have missed these sessions, so this is a little idea of what the spiritual world is and what the material world is. The spiritual world in Sanskrit is called Vaikunta. So Vaikunta means a place where there is no Kunta. This material world, another name of the material world is Kunta. Kunta means a place of misery. What does Kunta mean? Place of misery. So that is the material world. So if you want to go to a place where there is no misery, not this place. You have to go to Vaikunta, a place which is the spiritual world, there is no misery. Right? So we saw that this material world, we described a little about the material world, one universe. So basically, how the scriptures explain creation is, I think I touched upon this last time. I'm not getting too much into detail, a little technical things, but it's important to understand. The reason you all need to little understand about this is to know that how in our scriptures, even creation is explained elaborately. Right? The Bible's version of creation is God just desired, let there be creation. That's definitely there. But what are the processes, steps that happen is very systematically explained in our Vedic scriptures. So basically there is one form of Vishnu which you can see there on top. He's called Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu is so huge, when he breathes out, from every pore of his skin, the skin pore, one universe comes. And every universe is like a bubble, it's like an egg basically. Therefore every universe in Sanskrit is called Brahmand. It's like an egg, it's like an anda. And in each universe, again another form of Vishnu enters, which you can see here. This is one universe magnified, which is called Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, name of the Vishnu. From his navel, Brahmaji comes, the first son of Vishnu that is born. And in the so Brahmaji is born on a lotus stem and he sits on a lotus flower. And on the entire stem of Brahmaji designs the 14 planetary systems, 14 lok, right? Out of which they are divided into 3 parts: higher planetary systems, Swarga, the lower planetary systems called Naraka, and the earth, which is called Bhulok, like that. So, we will not get into the technical details of creation, but our origin was we all belong to the spiritual world, enjoying with Krishna. So what happens in the spiritual world is something like this. All living entities, there are many devotees in the spiritual world, and we were part of that family. Everyone is enjoying along with Krishna in the center. But when in the spiritual world, when we get this desire that I want to be independent of God, why only Krishna should enjoy? Why only God should enjoy? I will also enjoy. I also want to become God. So that desire to be independent of God makes us come to the material world. We gave the example of that driver who's driving a very a very fancy car, a very costly car for the master. So as long as the driver is driving the car, the master has no problem. But the day the driver takes the car and goes out on his own, the master understands that his mentality has changed. They'll immediately call the police and tell him, catch this fellow. Why? Because previously also he was driving and he was also enjoying the comforts of the car, but he was subordinate to the master. He was enjoying along with the master. The day he decided that this car now belongs to me, I don't want this master interfering, then his sojourn to the material world starts. So that's how the scriptures explain why the Atma comes from the spiritual world to the material world, because we all wanted to be independent of God. We gave this example of a small girl who may want to go to the kitchen and imitate the mother. I also want to learn cooking. So the mother knows that cooking is not, she can't do this. So the mother goes and buys a toy set, kitchen set for the girl. And the girl is like happy trying her stuff. So this material world is like that. It's like a kitchen set. It's like an SL world for us, where we try to imitate God. And when we come to a certain point and when we realize that we can't do it, we can't be God because we can't imitate God because we can't do His functions. We are very limited. So the day when we understand this, we make the sojourn back to the spiritual world. That's the journey back to the kingdom of God. Okay. So now the question, I'm sure many of you all may be having, and especially those who have been attending these sessions, we discussed on day 1 itself that this world, according to Krishna, Lord Krishna calls this world as Dhukalayam Ashashwatam. Krishna uses 2 words. What is this world? Dhukalay. What does Dhukalay mean? A place where there is misery. And Ashashwatam means temporary. Even if you say my life is very first class, there is no misery at all, which is not possible. That person is simply lying. He is not honest. But if someone says I don't have any misery, I have the most perfect life in this world, the problem is you are not allowed to stay here forever. You will have to leave and go. Therefore it is called Ashashwatam. So now the question is, why did God create this material world at all? With so much misery, why did He create it? Okay. So now, to answer that question, if you are in charge to plan a new city, you have to plan a new city, right? I mean, A to Z, you have to plan everything. What are the various things that you will have in the city? What are the various amenities and the various aspects of the city that you will address? What do you all think? The most important things you all should mention here. Yeah.
Water.
Okay. Infrastructure means? Water, electricity, roads, yeah. Anything else? Transportation. Churches, temples, correct. Hospitals, yeah. So basically, all of you are correct. Huh?
All those important things.
Yeah. So you will have, let's go through the list, okay? You will have buildings, you will have colleges, you will have hospitals, you will have playgrounds for people to, recreate. You will have shopping malls, you will have theaters, you'll probably have a stadium, or roads, bridges, all these things. And you will have a prison house. Okay, before we get into this, if you are in charge for planning a city, will you plan a prison house or not?
Of course. Yes.
There'll be some crime, something happening. So something.
Okay.
The police station rather.
Police station, whatever it is. Yeah. Will you have a police department or a police station to see that people who are breaking rules are taken care? Will you have it or not?
Yes.
Why will you have it? What is the purpose of having it?
Because there'll be somebody or other doing something.
Exactly.
Knowingly, unknowingly.
And if you don't have it, what will happen?
Anarchy.
Exactly. So now, when the government plans a prison house, Does a government actually love to invest its energy in a prison house? No government would actually want to do it. So there are certain things which you may not want to do, but you have to do. You're understanding it? So similarly, so basically a prison house, see the need for a prison house. What's the mood in making a prison house? See, the mood is not that the government finds great happiness in putting people there, filling up that prison and beating them down and giving them punishment. That's not the mood. What's the mood in making the prison house? What's the mood? What's the essence?
To fight the crime.
Keep the criminals off the road.
To keep the criminals off the road. What else?
To ensure that rule of law is followed.
Okay, what else?
To reflect the mistake.
Exactly. Yes, definitely all this is for the people who have not done the crime. Even for people who have done the crime, the whole mood is they can go learn their lessons, get rectified and become good citizens. You see, that's the whole idea. It's not to inflict pain. Pain is there, but the pain is inflicted. The base desire is compassion for them. These people will only learn it this way. Let them learn it. Let them learn their lessons well. That's the whole idea. You're understanding the point? So this material world, in Sanskrit, I told you one name of the material world is called Kunta, a place of misery. Another name of the material world is Durga. This material world is also called Durga. Durga basically means a fort. And the mistress of this fort, or one who sees that all the people are given sufficient punishment, she is called Durga. Understanding? So this material world in this analogy is like a prison house, right? For the living entities who have rebelled against God and come here. So in this material world, there is pain and punishment. See, if you have a prison house with 24 hours internet service, AC, first class, everything is first class, is that a prison house? It's not a prison house, right? So prison house is designed. What is the perfection of the design of a prison house? You have to have pain. So many people feel that God's creation, this material world is imperfect because there is problems and pains. This is the perfection of God's creation. Understanding? This place is made a place of pains and misery purposely so that the rectification can happen. So it is not an imperfection, it is a perfection. Understanding the point? So what are the pains and punishment in this world? We have already discussed this. We saw 4 things: birth, death, old age and disease. We discussed this in day 1, search for happiness. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam. So these are the 4 main sufferings that someone in the material world is given: birth, old age, disease and death. Along with this, we saw there are 3 more problems: adhyatmik, adhibautik, adhidevi klesh. Right, like that, right? So, and just like in a prison house, you have a jailer. So in this material world, the jailer is Durga Devi. And Durga Devi has Trishul in her hand. Have you seen Trishul in the hand of Durga? You know what this Trishul represents? This Trishul represents the threefold misery. We discussed this also in the day 1. Three miseries. So we saw 4 miseries. That is a package of the material world: birth, old age, disease, death. Along with that, there are 3 more miseries, which this Trishul of Durga Devi represents. What are the 3? We discussed this in the first class actually. First, it's called Adhyatmik Klesh, miseries that the body and mind give. The second is Adhibautik Klesh. Your body and mind may be good, but the other living entities will give you pain. You may get pain through other living entities, friends, neighbors, mosquitoes, or something or the other. Servant, something or the other. And the third is natural disturbance, Adhidevi Klesh. Correct? Misery is caused by natural disturbance. So these 3 represent what? The Trishul of Durga. So when we get these pains, what is the message that Durga is giving us? Think about it. What's the message that she is giving us? Huh?
Go back to the spiritual.
She is telling us, don't stay here. See, when the jailer in the prison house beats the prisoner or whatever, what is the jailer trying to tell the prisoner? You came here, this is what will happen. Don't come here again.
Correcting him.
Understanding the point? He is given such punishment that the message is given deep. Don't come to the jail again. You will go out, but see that you don't come here again. Remember this pain. So Durga Devi, in one sense, the pains of this world are actually a big blessing for us. The pains of this world are actually a big blessing for us, because Krishna and Durga Devi, through carrying out Krishna's order, she is motivating us, get out of this jail to the spiritual world, the kingdom of God. That's the whole idea. Understanding? See, God pulls us back to Him in two ways, two channels. One is He gives the message of Gita. He does all His wonderful pastimes, either in the Bhagavatam, in Krishna Leela or Ramayana, all these beautiful pastimes. So the Lord is motivating us through His example, through His teachings, through His pastimes. He's telling us, please come back. And the other ways, through the pains of this world, we are being pushed, go there. Understanding? So it's like a tie between, it's a partnership between Krishna and Durga Devi. Both of them in their own ways are motivating people. Right? So when you hear the wisdom of Gita, see, like all of you are coming to these classes. So this wisdom of Gita slowly is inspiring us to take this journey. Along with that, when we go on with our regular life, life will keep giving us shocks every now and then. We'll keep getting our shocks every now and then. So those shocks are going to reconnect us back to the message. That this is the world, Baba. What the Gita teaches is true. Padam padam yapi padam na tesham. This material world is a place where there is danger at every step. So please go away from this world back to the spiritual world. That's the whole idea. So the mood is not to give pain. Pain is there, but the basic mood is actually compassion, where Krishna wants us to go back home and not get stuck in this place of birth and death. Just like now, a child may have very high fever. The father may take the child to the doctor and tell the doctor, give this fellow injection. The child may say, what kind of father I have? Cruel guy. But the father knows that this injection is needed for him. The child is going to feel it cruel, but if this injection is not going to given, it's going to lead to more danger. So similarly, some amount of pains are needed so that we learn our lesson. So the underlying principle is the principle of compassion. So when you're with me till you?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is counterintuitive to my growing up as a Hindu boy.
Okay.
The whole piece which you gave on Durga. Because in what I've seen in our culture is that Durga Devi is somebody which everybody prays to for material happiness, prosperity.
Yeah, definitely.
All this is so, seeing her as an entity who is here to punish and remind you that real happiness is in the spiritual world. It's the first time I've heard of that concept as a Hindu.
Yeah.
Because if you look at all the Navratra, there's a lot of energy behind worshipping Durga Devi in this.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, see, definitely Durga Devi is Parvati ji. She is the consort of Shiva, and people go to her for material things. She is the goddess of this material world. People go to her.
Like Diwali with Lakshmi, the whole Lakshmi concept is that there's prosperity in my house. And so I find that a little.
Yeah. So see, this is the understanding that many people, their understanding of these personalities is still related to what these personalities can give me in this world.
What you want.
But actually, this is not their main function. Lakshmi, people go to Lakshmi for material wealth. But Lakshmi is not happy with those prayers. Lakshmi herself is at the feet of Vishnu, serving Vishnu. You have seen any picture of Lakshmi? She is the wife of Vishnu, she is serving Vishnu. So Lakshmi is more happy when someone engages in the service of her husband, when someone becomes her devotee. So this kind of the actual the essence of these personalities is not given. So people, whether it is Lakshmi, whether it is Durga, whether it is Krishna, whether it is Shiva, they go to any of these deities, their purpose is very clear. They want the things in this world. They either want energy, they want happiness, they want Shakti, they want this, they want that. Ultimately, it all revolves around me and mine, that's all. So people's understanding of dharma also very much revolves around kama, my own desires. People don't have this kind of scriptural understanding that actually even if you go to Durga and she gives you material desires, that is not the actual mercy of Durga. Durga's actual mercy is when you are inspired from her and you take her teachings and go back to Krishna. That's the actual mercy. So all these personalities, they have something called Kapat Kripa and actual Kripa. One is called Kapata, means cheating mercy. So you go to them for material things, they will just give you and they'll just get rid of you, but actually that is not their mercy. That's what the true understanding is. Okay? Can we continue ahead? So just like when someone goes to the prison, this is just an analogy for us to understand the material world. When someone goes to a prison, what is the first thing that is done? Clothes are changed. Similarly, when we come to the material world, the first thing that is done is we get a body. Understanding? So we discussed this. For a spirit to enjoy matter, you need a material body. And the material world, nature, same Durga Devi, fashions bodies for us. Here is Sachin Tendulkar in different dresses. Hare Krishna. So material world has 84 lakh dresses for you. In a standard prison you may have one dress, but material world has 84 lakh dresses for you. These are called 84 lakh species. And in a Shastra there is a verse which explains how many species are there in which category basically. So it says 9 lakh species living in water. So our Shastric understanding even of material nature, everything is like very clear. So there are 9 lakh species of living entities living in water, different kinds of bodies that they have. 20 lakh species non-moving entities such as trees, creepers, like that. 11 lakh species of insects and reptiles. Right? This is the Vedic understanding. Like this, insects and reptiles. Many. 10 lakh species of birds. Birds that can fly. 30 lakh varieties of quadrupeds, four-legged animals basically. And then scriptures say 4 lakh species of humans. So you may say that humans is one species. What does it mean 4 lakh species? So here in our Vedic understanding, when we refer to species, it's just not the differences in bodies, it is also the differences in consciousness, Chetana. So you may have human beings but with varieties of consciousness. Someone may be in the body of a human but his consciousness is as good as an animal only, animalistic. And someone may be in a body of a human but he may have consciousness like that of a demigod, very sophisticated, very high. So like this you have the whole variety of human beings, right from the lowest till someone who is like a demigod, like that. So total is 84 lakh species. So as soon as the Atma, so we are tracing back the process how the Atma gets entangled in the world. The first starts with the desire to be independent of God. As soon as we make that desire, the sojourn to come back to this material world starts. As soon as we come here, we get different bodies, and that's how we get entrapped. So this material world, in scriptures explained, it is a prison without walls. This is something very interesting. Generally, just 2 days ago, I was just coming on that side to the Kolwale jail. You see these jails and they have like huge walls, right? Some time ago, actually, 1 or 2 years ago, we used to go inside the jail to preach to the prisoners there. We used to have programs for the prisoners in the jail. So these prison houses have huge walls because prisoners tend to escape. But this world doesn't have walls. But the irony is, no one wants to escape. This material world has no walls, but no one wants to escape.
No one wants to know. No one will be able to escape.
No, people will be able to escape.
How do we?
Yeah, that I'll tell you how. But the point is, no one wants to escape. The attractions are so nice, people just feel happy in the prison. They suffer, but they are happy in the prison. They don't want to go out. So that's the irony of this world. So therefore, this world is called a place of illusion, Maya. The attractions are so strong. These little attractions keep you trapped to suffer, and you don't mind the suffering because those little traces of those happiness that you get, that keeps you going, that keeps you giving that kick. Understanding? So the next thing is, just like in a prison house, nowadays it doesn't happen for very severe prisoners. You tie them to chains, or you have hatkadi like that. So similarly, this material world, there are chains that bind us. In Sanskrit, these are called gunas. 3 gunas, 3 modes of material nature. In Sanskrit, this is called Sattva Guna, mode of goodness, Rajo Guna, mode of passion, and Tamo Guna, mode of ignorance. Have you all heard about this? No? Okay. If you all have not heard, you all should hear now. And if you all have heard, you all should hear a little more in detail. So, Bhagavad Gita has one entire chapter devoted to the 3 modes. And 1 or 2 more chapters Krishna explains elaborately. This is a big science actually, 3 modes of nature. This is called Sattva, means goodness, Rajo means passion, and Tamo means ignorance. These are 3 modes that govern us. You can see in this picture here, what you can see? You can see 2 people working, and the 3 modes represented as 3 ladies controlling them. So, all of us, we are like puppets being controlled by these 3 modes. These are invincible ropes that control us. Goodness, passion, ignorance. I'll tell you a little more about these modes now. So these are like 3 chains for us. Goodness, passion, ignorance. Krishna explains this in detail. Like goodness, characteristic of goodness. Someone who's in the mode of goodness, such a person is very peaceful. He's very peaceful, he doesn't commit too many sins, very, very calm type of person. You might have seen a person like this, really cool-headed basically, that's what they say. A person with a mode of passion has unlimited desires. He's like too hyperactive, unlimited desires, especially the desire for opposite sex. Srila Prabhupada would say, Prabhupada mentions in the purport, the present Kali Yuga, see Satya Yuga, the first Yuga, was predominantly the mode of goodness. Everyone was very sattvic. And in Kali Yuga, and as time progresses, passion and ignorance are on the rise. You will find everywhere, especially in cities. See, village life is a little more sattva guna, peaceful. City life is very passionate. If you go on Panjim city, you'll understand what I'm trying to say. The vibrations are like that. You can feel those vibrations literally of passion pushing you. And ignorance is where someone is very lazy, someone just sleeps into intoxication, completely lost, depressed people. They are characterized by the mode of ignorance, right? So, goodness is like a golden chain, golden hatkadi. You all understand hatkadi? Chains. Passion is like a silver chain. Ignorance is like an iron chain. Or goodness is like A class jail. Passion is like B class jail. Ignorance is like C class jail. So now my question to you is, which hatkadi you will prefer? Golden, silver or iron?
They're all jails.
Yeah. So the point is, if you are highly intelligent, what you will choose?
No.
No shackles. So if someone asks you, which jail you would prefer? A class jail, B class jail, C class jail. Which jail you prefer? No jail. That is the intelligent choice to make. So in this material world, someone who is like very rich or someone who has like a great facility, he is living technically, according to scriptures, in an A class jail. That's all. But as long as you are in the material world, you are in the jail only. Even Swarga, even heavenly planet is not the spiritual world. Heavenly planet is a place where there is lot of facilities. There is a lot of, you have a long life, you can drink sodas, you can enjoy, you can do everything. You have so many apsaras. It's like a great place to enjoy. Just a A-class jail. Still the part of the material world. Still of the three modes at all. No chains at all. So basically ignorance is characterized by madness and all this. So even food, actually if you get into the details of this, Krishna explains everything is in the three modes. Like a day, early morning hours, which mode it is in? Goodness. Early morning hours, very conducive to spiritual life, goodness. The day is the mode of passion, activity starts. The night is in the mode of ignorance, where people are actually supposed to go to sleep. That's what it's meant for. Similarly, you have everything. You have animals in the three modes. Cow, that's in the mode of goodness. As soon as you go near the cow, you will feel very calm, composed. A tiger is in the mode of passion, very aggressive, like that. And you have a buffalo, typically, who is in the mode of ignorance. The buffalo sits in one place, you do anything, that guy is not going to get up. Hey, that's it. He'll not do anything. He'll just sit there like that. So similarly, you have everything. You have food in the mode of goodness. Food in the mode of goodness, Krishna explains in the Gita, is something that is fresh, something that is juicy, something that is good for the body. Fruits, milk, grains, these are food in the mode of goodness. Food in the mode of passion is something that is too spicy, too pungent, too sour, anything in extremes is passion, which is not very good for the body. And food in the mode of ignorance is something that is stale, dead, rotten. This kind of food is in the food in the mode of ignorance. Similarly, you have music. Flute music. What mode this is? Peaceful, na? Crazy rock music. Passion. Just getting into that, it's as if your heart is going to come out. Just one moment is going to come out. Passion, complete. And then you have music with all kinds of drugs and everything. Ignorance. Understanding? This is just to give you a little idea of how the modes govern us. And we are controlled. See, like now, you may be very peaceful, but you enter into an environment where there is really hard music going on, everyone is into smoking, drinking. As soon as you enter, your thoughts are going to change. Your thoughts are going to change. Because the environment controls. So one part of spiritual life is also to stay in environments that is going to help you, and to stay away from environments that is going to pull you down. Because that's how the environment controls. You can get dragged into the environment. So being very choosy of what environment you go is very, very important. Correct? So now we saw points. We saw the material world is like a jail. It's basically meant to give us punishment for a cause, so that we learn a lesson. And more important than punishment is purification. It's meant to purify our heart so that we learn the lessons. So the different species are like costumes and the chains are like the three modes. Okay? So this was something about Prakriti, material world, material nature. Now there's a small section about Kal. See, Kal refers to time. Time is something that is, it's such a fascinating subject. You can't see time. What we see in the watch is just some moving of a dial basically. But you can't say that I'm seeing time. Time is something that you can't see. But time is continuously moving. It doesn't stop for anyone. When Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, the 11th chapter of Gita is called Virat Roop Darshan. Krishna shows that universal form. And when Arjuna sees that universal form of Krishna, Arjuna is like completely shaken apart and he's like scared in one sense seeing that form. Very fearful form that Krishna showed, the universal form. So Arjuna is asking Krishna, who are you? I thought you are my friend and suddenly this form you have shown. So that time Krishna in this universal form, Krishna says, Kalosmi Bharatashraba. My dear Arjuna, I am Kal. I am time. So time is the most powerful force and the ultimate killer. No powerful guy has overpowered time. Everyone has been squared off with time. In history, in our Puranic histories, you have Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, and all these personalities. Duryodhan, very powerful at their time. Kamsa, very powerful at their time. But ultimately, time is the winner. They are all gone into oblivion. And you have in recent times, medieval times, you have Alexander and all these personalities, Hitler and all these guys. Time finishes off everyone. It is the ultimate killer. Just like in a gambling, in gambling, so someone may get into all these casinos and put some money, and it may appear that you're winning, but finally no one has made those casinos to give you money. You will just get the kick of it, and one day you will lose maximum, and they will gain everything. Basically, that's how their whole thing is designed. Similarly, or you may have like a cat playing with a kitten, a cat trying to kill a mouse. So the cat sometimes may catch the mouse, leave the mouse, catch the mouse, leave the mouse, just playing around. And then finally it will hit. So time is like that. It will play around, it may seem that you're winning, but no one is going to win over time. Time is the most powerful force. In our Vedic understanding, time is circular. Time is not linear. It keeps going in a circle. You'll have seen that old Mahabharata. Main Kal hu, and you can see that circle going on. Time is circular. I'll tell you how it is circular. Even in our day, you have morning, afternoon, evening, night, and then after that what you have? Again morning. Even in the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, again Monday. It goes in a cycle. Okay? Similarly, in the month, it goes on in a cycle. Similarly, the Yuga cycles, Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali, and after that, again Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. It keeps going on in a cycle. Kali Yuga, which we are presently in, the total duration of Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years, out of which only 5,000 years are over. You all will be thinking, more Kali Yuga is still to come. Just wait and watch what else is going to come. COVID was just the trailer. The actual movie is still to come. That's Kali Yuga. Previous to Kali Yuga was Dwapar Yuga, when Lord Krishna appeared, 8,64,000 years. Previous to that, Treta Yuga, when Lord Ram appeared, Treta Yuga is 12,96,000. And then Satya Yuga is 17,28,000. So this whole thing together is called one Chatur Yuga. How much is that? 43,20,000? 43,20,000 years. It's one Divya Yuga or one Chatur Yuga. So like that, 1,000 such Divya Yugas make 12 hours of Brahma. Multiply that into 2. 1,000 such Chatur Yugas, 43,20,000 into 1,000 make 12 hours of Brahma. Multiply that into 2, it's 1 day of Brahma. Multiply that into 365 is 1 year of Brahma. Multiply that into 100 is one life of Brahma, 100 years. That is the duration of one Brahmand, one Yuga, one universe. And this whole thing lasts for only one breath of Mahavishnu. This huge span of Brahmaji is just one breath. As soon as he breathes in, everything is over. So that's how the Yuga cycles move. Even in this life, there are different transformations that happen. Like someone is 6 transformations basically. Someone is born, someone grows, then there is maintenance, then there is reproduction, the body dwindles, and then there is death. And after death, what is there? Again, the same cycle. Jatasya dhruvam mrityu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Krishna says for one who is born, death is sure, and for one who dies, he is sure to be born again until someone gets out of the cycle of birth and death. Otherwise, you have to keep coming back again and again. It keeps going on in a cycle. Okay? So I told you time is like the greatest gambler. Ultimately, time is going to win. I don't know why I told you all this. There's a Chinese proverb. This Chinese proverb says that at the end of a chess game, both the king and the pawn go in the same box. So whoever you may be, end result is the same. Bus, death is going to blow off everyone. So in that way we are all equal. We are going to meet the same result. So that was a little about Kala. So now we will get into this topic of karma. So in order to reach this point, you all had to understand that full sequence, why we came in the material world, the reason and everything. Then only this can make sense to you. So the law of karma. So someone may have this question, why is someone born strong and someone born weak? Someone is beautiful, someone is ugly, someone has the best education, some don't even get basic needs. Some are very fair, some are dark, some stay in big mansions, some stay in small hut, some are born to rich parents, some are born to poor parents. Why is God so partial and cruel? Right? Why is so much disparity? One end you have the spectrum, other end you have the spectrum. At least you go to Bombay, you can see the spectrums. You have like the most sophisticated building, and below that you have slums. Both the extremes are naked in a city like Bombay, right? So why is this partiality and why is the disparity? Why is God so cruel and partial? The same judge may award on the same day of his services in the court, he may award someone rigorous imprisonment. He may tell him 15 years sentenced to the jail. And the next case he may say compensation, this guy should get 20 lakhs. So why is the judge giving different judgments? Is he partial? Is the judge partial? No, he's not partial. The judge is giving judgments based on the activities of the individual and according to the law. That's it. He sees the case, he sees the activities, he sees the law, and then he matches both and he gives a judgment. Similarly, Krishna tells in the Gita, this is Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, 29th verse. Krishna says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dvesho sthina priya. Krishna says, Samoham. I see everyone equally. Name dvesho sthina priya. There is no favor. I don't have any favorites and I don't hate anyone. I see everyone equally. So Paramatma, God, who is there in our heart as the Paramatma, he is the witness to all our activities. And like a neutral judge, he just gives the verdict based on our karma. So basically, in one sense actually, God even doesn't interfere in the system. See, this material world, see, if you see it from God's perspective, you have material world has limited resources. You have n number of living entities. You can't even imagine how many living entities are there. You can't even imagine. We can't even calculate the human population properly. Right? What to speak of the animals, population of living entities, souls in the body of animals, reptiles, insects, unlimited living entities, and that's just this earth. One earth, and the earth is the smallest planet in this universe, and there are millions of universes. So how many living entities are there? And the resources are limited. So God, Krishna has put this system of karma in place where everything gets calculated and everything is on an auto mode basically. So Krishna in one sense doesn't have to interfere, give judgment every time. It's all put on an auto mode and the law of karma plays. Your actions and reactions keep giving you your resultant reactions and that's how it continues. But everything it's there in a system. It is not haphazard, right? There is a system in play. So what is the definition of law of karma? That's what we're going to see first now. Okay, before we get into that, some quick questions. Who am I? Spirit soul. Okay. Where are we? Where are we now? No, Kali Yuga is a time. Where are we? We are in the material world. Okay. What situation we are in? We are in a material body. Okay. What are we bound by? Maya? No, something specific we just saw some time ago. What are we bound by? What are the chains that bind us? The three modes. Sattva, Raja, Tamo. Okay. Who is controlling us? Time. We are under the control purview of time. Who is watching us? Paramatma is watching us. So what is the definition of law of karma? Activities performed by the soul in the material body, conditioned by the three modes of material nature, under the control and purview of time. So first things, activities performed by the Atma in the material body. Karma doesn't apply in the spiritual world. Karma applies only in the material world. According to the three modes and time, this is what karma is. In simple words, it is Newton's third law. For every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. Or in biblical language, as you sow, so shall you reap. You may have forgotten what you have sown, but the crop will show you what you have sown clearly, right? So this is how the law of karma works. Many people have this question, is everything predestined or do we create our own destiny? Is everything like already decided or do we actually create it? So the situation where we are in now, the body that we have, the kind of mental mindsets that we have, is because of the choices we have made in the past. The present environment is the result of the previous choices, the previous reactions that have come. Now the present environment, right, may force us to choose a certain response, to react in a certain way. May force us. But still we have a free will, the choice is there, right? So depending on how we choose that particular response, what comes out is the reaction. And then that becomes again part of our new environment. It keeps going on in a cycle. So every time we do an action, that reaction, they may be happiness, they may be suffering, but it also reinforces the environment where we are in now. And in this way, the sum total of all our choices, all our action and reactions will decide what our next life is going to be. Whether as a human being, animal, spiritual world, like that. So how does the law of karma work? So in Gita, Krishna explains, this is something that's very interesting, you all should understand this. Krishna explains three kinds of doers. For any activity to be done, three personalities, three things have to go together. Then only it can happen. First is we, the Atma. Second is material nature. And third is the sanction of the Supreme Lord. When all three things work, then only it will happen. I'll give you an example. Like now, you go out of this colony and there's a taxi guy standing out in front of Grand Hyatt. You sit in the taxi and you tell the taxi guy, take me to Panjim bus stand, and he takes you. After you get down there, the taxi fellow will tell you, give me money. So if you tell the taxi guy, why should I give you? You also enjoyed the ride now. What's the problem? You also enjoyed. Why should I give you? So the taxi guy will tell you, I wanted to stay there only. I started the taxi and bought it here because of you. So you have to pay for it. Now, for you to go from here till bus stand, three people are needed. First is you. You have to make the desire. Second is the vehicle is needed. Okay, imagine if you are there, the vehicle is there, the driver is not there, you will not be able to reach. The vehicle also should be there, driver also should be there. And imagine if the driver is there, the vehicle has a problem, still you will not reach. So when all the three things are there, only you can reach your destiny. So similarly, we may have a certain to do something, but if it is not sanctioned by the Supreme Lord, whatever you do, it's not going to happen. It's definitely not going to happen. Just like, someone goes to a restaurant and orders some food and the waiter comes and gives. Now you go out, the cashier will be waiting there to take the money. So you may say, I didn't know anything about this. I ordered, that guy gave, I ate it. So no, there is no free ride in this world. You may think that this waiter is like your servant waiting to serve you. But there is a price tag for everything. Before you enter the restaurant, you have to know these rules. Similar in the material world, you may order something and the material nature may provide you, but at the end the bill will come to you. And you have to pay the bill with the currency of your karma. You have to pay it. You can't escape it. Sometimes it happens now. In restaurants, you just go and you order like 20 things. You have lost track of what you have ordered only. Finally, the bill will come. I didn't order so much. बराबर आपने याद नहीं रखा, but we have kept everything in track, right? They'll give you that much bill at the end. Similarly, it's like that. We may do hundreds of things we may not have any track of, but ultimately we will get that bill in the form of the reaction that we have to face. Can I go on for 5 minutes more?
Yes.
Okay. What are the different kinds of karma? This is also very important. First is called good karma. What it is called? Good karma. Good karma in Sanskrit is simply called karma. When you say karma, you refer generally to good karma. Good karma basically means, giving people food, water, all this, doing good to people basically is good karma. So now, when you do good activities, what you will get? Good reactions. Your result will be good. Like it's said in the scriptures that if you give water to someone, if you feed a thirsty person water, you will never have shortage of water in your life. Or in the next life, you'll have like a lot of water like that. Or you give someone food, you will not have shortage of food in your house like that, right? So good karma gives good results. The best good results is you may go to Swarga. If you have done really good karma, lot of punya, in Sanskrit good karma is punya. If you have done lot of punya, you will be able to go and stay in the heavens. But what is the problem of heavenly planet? What is the problem of going to heaven?
Too much goodness there.
Yeah. Heaven is great place, but still it is part of the material world. So Krishna tells in the Gita, Shine punya martya lokam vishanti. Once you punya, see, you go to Swarga with a stock of punya. As soon as you go there, your punya is getting exhausted. Because every day in Swarga is costly. The bills are high. Your punya is getting over. You may not realize it, but the bills are getting over. And the day your punya is over, you are sent down again. Shine punya. Shine means over. Shine punya martya lokam vishanti. You are sent back to the material world.
There you cannot earn any more punya.
You can earn some. You can definitely earn some punya. You can extend your stay there. But no punya can keep you eternally in that place. It will get exhausted. It will keep getting over. And then you'll have to come back to the material world. As I told you, whether it is this world, whether it is this planet, the earth or the heavenly planet, no one can stay there put forever. You will have to go. The seats have to be vacant for the others to come. Right? That's the rule. Like in GMC now, you go, they may give you a bed, but in some time they will tell you, move away, Baba. Others are waiting. You can't be in that bed forever. You have to give space for others. So like that. So good result will give you good karma, but good karma maximum will take you to heaven. After that, you'll have to come back. Now, bad karma, vikarma. So vikarma basically, in a Vedic understanding, there are 4 things that fit into vikarma. One is definitely eating meat, because you are unnecessarily killing an animal, eating a product of violence. Second is gambling. Yeah.
Casino is right next door.
Yeah. Come, Roji. Third is intoxications of any sorts, smoking, drinking, drugs, all this. And fourth is illicit connections, right? So these are like four specific, they are more, but these are like four specific things that are considered to be vikarma. And I mean, the irony in today's world is, what is vikarma is celebrated as the most coolest things. Isn't it? Just think about it. The heroes of this Bollywood, Hollywood, they openly do these things. And the newer generation understands that this is real cool life. Right? But actually this is not cool life. This is where actual Kali sin resides. Right? So the result of bad karma is, what is the result of bad karma? You will have to suffer. Think about it. Any of these four things, most often you will get suffering in this life only. Too much intoxication will give you suffering in this life. Illicit connection will give you your own suffering, so much suffering that comes in this world. If not, you will, in the next life, you will have to suffer either in hellish planets or the lower species of life, you will suffer. So these are two kinds of karma we saw now. Karma, good karma, vikarma is bad karma. There is a third kind of karma called akarma. Akarma means neutral activities. Neutral activities means doing these activities, you will neither incur bad reactions nor accumulate good. In fact, these neutral karma will help you square off your good and bad and clear your karmic account forever. This is called akarma. And Gita specifically talks about this. What is this akarma? The next session that we do, practical application of Bhagavad Gita, is devoted to the topic of akarma. What is the science of akarma? So till now, for today's session, we are just mentioning you the three kinds of karma. Karma refers to good activities, vikarma refers to bad, akarma refers to neutral activities. So out of the three, which is the best?
One example
Akarma.
of akarma.
One example of akarma is this picture of Arjuna fighting the war. This is the example of one example of akarma. So basically, Arjuna is doing activity. Arjuna is apparently doing vikarma. Apparently, he is killing. Apparently,
Duty.
no, a duty to everyone does only. But Arjuna is doing his activity of fighting for Krishna, for the pleasure of God, carrying out the instructions of God. Such activity is called akarma. Understanding?
But why killing is good activity?
Because when
Purpose.
for a purpose, everything has its own utility. Everything has its own utility. So in a Vedic culture, you have Kshatriyas who perform their duty of destroying the adharmic forces, which is important for the upkeep of society. Basically, you can call Arjuna in today's world a soldier or a police. So police or a soldier on the border may have to do killing. Not that they want to do it, Arjuna didn't want to do it, but sometimes it's needed for the society. You understanding? That's their role. So there are some kind of people who have to do that. See, we are able to ask this question because there are some people who are actually doing that killing out in the borders. That's why we are able to peacefully sit and ask that question. So that's also needed for the upkeep of society. So there are certain people who have to do it. So 5,000 years ago, Arjuna had to deal with such a guy called Duryodhana and his party who were, basically, destroying all the rules and flaunting everything. So, and the society was going in anarchy. So the whole society had to be bought on a dharmic page. That's why this war of Kurukshetra happens. Okay? So we'll discuss more about karma later. So what is the duration of the results of karma? There is something called instant karma. Like you go, ATM, you go and you'll get your instant money. And there is check. It takes time, a day or two to reflect. You have mustard seed. You've seen mustard seeds? In the north you have. You might have seen on the fields north. You put plants, the mustard seeds, in 1 or 2, 3 weeks the crops come. And you have coconut plant. You plant it takes 10-15 years for the fruits to come. One example of instant karma is you slap someone, immediately that guy will slap you. Finished. Account squared off. But you may have someone who may actually kill someone and get off. And the case runs. And it may take years for the case to come and this person to be given a punishment. It's called delayed karma. So some things come instant, some things come in a delayed way. An example of delayed karma is this. One time, you all know, for those who know the Mahabharata storyline a little, Dhritarashtra was a blind king. He had 100 sons, the Kauravas. And all of you all know the Pandavas killed all the 100 children. All the 100 Kauravas died. So after the end, so Dhritarashtra is asking Krishna. Dhritarashtra knows, even though he didn't listen to Krishna, he knew that Krishna died. So he asked Krishna, why did I have to go through so much suffering? In front of my eyes, I saw 100 sons die. So Krishna said, 50 lifetimes ago, you were a king and you went on a hunting excursion. And in that hunting excursion, you killed 100 baby birds. And father, the male bird, you made him blind. The result of that is this life you are born blind and all your 100 sons are killed. So Dhritarashtra said, this happened 50 lifetimes ago. Why did I have to wait 50 lifetimes? So Krishna said, to get one son, you need punya. So 50 lifetimes you accumulated punya. And in this life you got 100 sons and that karma came now. Dhritarashtra said, Krishna, you are the Supreme Lord. How you can keep all this track, you only know. This is what track one Dhritarashtra. Imagine so many people, Krishna is keeping all this track. So the delayed karma. So the law of karma works on whom? It works on an individual, which is called individual karma. Or it could, sometimes there could be a collective karma. Like in a plane crash or something like that, a group of people have to meet the same fate at that point. More features on the law of karma. If I do not know the law of karma, then what? Even if you don't know, the law will act. Like if you put your hand in fire, if a child doesn't know, will the fire burn or not burn? The fire will burn. If you go, a local train, and if you have a ticket for, the third class compartment, you sit in the first class, you'll be fined. For sure, you'll be fined. So ignorance is not an excuse. Does good and bad karma nullify each other? What do you think? Matlab, you do 10 bad karma and you do 10 good karma. Will it get nullified? Then what will happen? So,
You have to continue to do good karma.
So how it is, see, if I do 7 good karma, 4 bad karma, the result is not that I'm going to have 3 good results. It's not like that. If you do 7 good karma, you will get 7 good reactions separately. And for the 4 bad karma that you have done, that reactions also will come. You can't escape. You will have to face both separately, right? So many of the people, who are into crime and other things, many of them give charity also. Actually, if you see, लोगों को मारो, दूसरे side से दान दो. It's not that easy, Baba. For the charity you do little, you may get something, but that is also waiting in store for you. So it doesn't get minus like this, right? You have to face separately. Just like you plant 10 mango trees, sweet fruits, and 4 neem trees, kadwa fruit. It doesn't mean that at the end you're going to have 6 mango trees. No. Both will get planted and both will give the result. So good and bad karma do not cancel each other. You will get separate fruits, separate results for both. So in essence, why do bad things happen to good people? So in previous times or in places where they do big scale farming, especially in the West America and all, you have like huge scale, acres and acres they cultivate together. And they store the grains in huge containers like this. It's called silos, huge containers. they put it on top like that. So you put the grains from top and you have a tap down to remove the grains. So if someone has cultivated real good quality grains this harvest and put it on top, and he opens the tap down and he sees bad quality grains coming.
Because Pharaoh was down.
Yeah. So because your good is there, it will come when its time has to come. But what about all the bad you have already done for the last couple of years? That also has to come out now. So that will come out. You may have forgotten what you have done before, but it's going to come out in its own channel. The calculations are perfect. So that's why when we see things that, why is this happening to me? We may have an understanding of the good that we have done in this life. What about all the lifetimes before? You have any track? See, I quite often ask this. Today, now what is the time? 6:56, almost 7 p.m. Yesterday, 7 p.m, what you all were doing? What you all were doing?
Chatting.
You have to think about it. Day before yesterday, 7 p.m, what you all were doing? Can't remember. 4 days before, last week, 7 p.m, what you were doing? Can't remember. Something good, something bad, but we can't remember. So the point is, when we question that why is this thing happening to me? We can't even remember what we did yesterday. What we know, what we did last lifetime. We have no idea, right? We have no idea. So this question basically means we think that we see this life as all in all. But our Vedic understanding is this life is just one short part of the journey that the Atma has had for so many lifetimes. So we can't even imagine what we have done, what all kind of wrong things we have done. No idea. So something is coming. We have to just accept it with grace and move on. That we have done it, right? And then learn our lessons and move on. That's all. So just to summarize the law of karma and some frequently asked questions. How does the law of karma work? We saw 3 principles. The soul desires, the material nature executes, and Paramatma is the judge who sanctions. The example of that taxi, right? What are the different kinds of karma? Karma, vikarma, akarma. Good activities, bad activities, neutral activities or devotional activities, which we will see later. The duration of the results of karma, instant and delayed. Karma works on whom? Collectively, individually. If I don't know the law, will it still work? Yes. Ignorance is no excuse. And especially after knowing this, so definitely it will work more. Does good and bad nullify each other? No. We have to we have to enjoy the good reactions and suffer the bad reactions separately. Why do bad things happen to good people? People suffer for their past actions. So what should we do now? You may say, Prabhuji, आपने तो बहुत complex करके रख दिया हमारा life. Before the course, our life was a little more easier, right? Because when you're not aware, you just live in your own ignorance. So what should we do now? Is there any hope for us? So this human life is compared to a train junction. You know what's a train junction? Train junction is like a very big station where you have trains of different directions coming in, basically. So suppose you sit in a train that's going to Mumbai, and at some point in the train you decide that no, I just want to go to Delhi, I don't want to go to Mumbai. You have to wait for a junction to come. There you can get off this train and get into the next train that goes in a different direction. So human life is like the train junction. Here you have unlimited options open for you. You can choose what train we want to sit in. We may be sitting right now in the wrong train, but this human form of life is a junction where you can get down and get into the right train. What are the different trains in human form? What are the various options? You can either become a human being again, you can go to the heavens, you can go to the lower species of life, or if you are very intelligent, you can take the train that goes to the spiritual world and go back. So these are the choices that we have. We can choose what we want. See, once you sit in a train, like in an airport, you have a choice which flight you want to sit in. Once you sit in the flight, then you can't do anything. The flight is going to land where it's supposed to land. So,
From there you can take a decision.
From
there you can take a decision.
From there you can take, but then you lot of time or opportunity. See, once you miss this human form, if you get another human form again, you are lucky. But if you somehow slip into the lower species because of the karma, then you have to wait for that gradual evolution till you come to the human form. Only then you will get a chance again.
It's difficult.
So where,
Once you have come down, it's very difficult.
yeah, so it will take its long time. You will get chances, definitely. But the question is, are you ready to wait for that long? Or if you are intelligent, come better that we understand the scriptural teachings and take the train back to the spiritual world. So it said that life is a preparation, death is an examination. This examination is going to come for everyone. Can anyone escape it? No one can escape it, right? Copying is not allowed in this, right? So death is an examination that we all have to face, and human life is meant for that preparation. How to pass this examination with this proper understanding, and what is the syllabus to pass this examination of death, and how one can perfect this examination of death and everything. What is the syllabus and what is the process, that we are going to see in the next session, which is called Practical Application of Bhagavad Gita. One entire session devoted to the topic of akarma, devoted to the topic of how to prepare, and so that we can just go back to the spiritual world and don't come back to this material world. That's what we will see the next time. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So today we will not have today we will not have questions because I just need to push for another program. I'm sorry I'm leaving you all at this note.
I think maybe we can all discuss.
You all can definitely discuss it. But